Welcome back, guys. What's up?
What's up? What's up? How's it going?
Happy Wednesday.
ET4.
Hump day.
We're back. We're back. We're here. We're ready.
I love the catchy little intro music. Gets me jamming right before we get in here.
And we need to change that. We need to change all my YouTube stuff that we do when we do it together for DT4 stuff.
Okay, well,
We'll do that.
Can we get some crunk music?
Crunk?
Yeah, some crunk.
You want to get some?
Yeah,
you want to get some
crunk.
Lil Jon and the East Side Boys on?
Dun, 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 dun.
So it's hump day. It's hump day. We got a great guest. SMEYE World is going to be in the building for a bit. We're going to just talk about some cool, crazy stuff that's happened to us throughout the week, and then we'll get SMEYE on here and bombard with some questions. So what's up, guys?
I just want to say I missed you guys all this week.
Miss you too, Ditto. I haven't really talked to you very much.
I can honestly say, Ditto, I didn't miss you that much. Like,
I knew it was coming.
Like I thought I would. I really did. Like I thought I was going to have some like withdrawal stuff, but
What is it?
no.
I'm going to 5 points. Are you sure you don't want to change that?
I do. I want to go.
Yeah.
What is it that Rock says? And gosh darn it, be nice to each other.
Yeah. I would even room with you, Ditto.
No,
and I don't room with.
No.
Hey, boo.
No, you'd be trying to cuddle with me and it would get weird.
Hey,
I love it.
Jason.
What's up, Ern? What's up, Jason?
Ernsy's in the house. What's up, Ern?
I really wish that I could go to 5 points. I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of getting FOMO.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to, we'll see what happens. Right now, the East Coast is under a little bit of a hazardous warning with all of those Canadian wildfires blowing down into the East Coast. I mean, they did put a message up on the 5 points IG today that everything's still on. They don't anticipate that it's going to be affected by it, but today it looked really nasty. So luckily, fingers crossed,
bad.
I still have a couple of days before I have to hop on a plane. But assuming everything clears out of there, which I'm hoping and praying Mother Nature will be kind to us, then it'll be really fun. I'm going to get to see a lot of the people that we've kind of struck up relationships with over the past several months. Red and Ganga and Prime and RWK, and the list goes on and on and on.
They said yesterday they said New York or that area was the worst air in the world that day yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, my buddy who lives out there, you know, they had hazard warnings, like basically stay indoors, and it was like, I think I was talking to actually Chris Savage about this earlier today too, because he's in Philly, and he said that Missy had to go to like an appointment, and Missy had to wear a mask because it was in a level that the air was so dangerous for anybody who's pregnant or older,
like
or
smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I know that my asthma would be flaring up, so that's
All right, so the big question: we know Ditto's going to 5 points. Any big pickups this week? Did we pick up anything?
I got a couple of cool figures that might resonate with some of the people in here. I got a few of my Rock Minis Series 2s in, so that's I consider that kind of a big pickup.
I was excited that Jason traded me last night for Marty.
Oh yeah,
Cannon.
Yeah, that was really cool of him.
Yeah, I think that's the 3 out of 10.
That's your favorite number.
That's Savage got me. I also got one real huge that'll call back to last week's pickup that E&B have on the way as of today. I had to relabel it, weight it, but it's out on its way to you.
Oh, dude.
It's so pretty.
I can't wait.
That is cool.
It'll be worth the wait.
So for those of you who weren't in the first DT4, this is by the artist Chris RWK, who was our very first guest, who we're all huge fans of. So that's pretty sick.
They both copied me. EMB and Ditto copied me on that.
I
don't have it.
Yeah?
I don't have it. No, I don't have it.
Okay, but you wanted it, right?
I want it.
McGinnis, I will definitely be bringing a mask just to be safe, but
so
I just hope I get there.
So I feel so bad right now. I see SMEYE's here. They're in the back. They're in the green room having some cocktails. But I forgot to say hello to everybody. I feel really bad. Christina Payne, all kinds of people in here. Mike Guinness, Michael's here. Tammy's here. Aaron's here. Michelle is here. Pop Funko UK, all the way from the UK, is here.
Evelyn.
Jason's here. We all know Jason.
Yeah.
Pulled the 1-of-1 last night. Crazy.
Twice.
Rob Bell.
Crazy.
Maya's here. Aaron again. Evelyn's here. ACB is here. ACB. Rux 1 is here all the way from Australia.
Rux.
Hey, mate.
What's up, Rux?
Rux is, if you guys have not heard, he's going to be a part of Series 3 of my minis. He's
Presenting in a work meeting.
He's in. So I just forgot to say hi to everybody. I apologize. I got too excited when I saw these guys today. So
Thank y'all for being here and hanging out with us.
I'm imagining Rux right now, literally on a Zoom or some other kind of meeting call, and he's just got us up on the side, and they're like talking to him right now. He's muted. And he's like, "Oh, hey, mate, I'm watching the DT4, mate."
I love the accent. Festy Jelly's here.
we got a bunch of people in the room, and I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out for our second episode of DT4. Since SMEYE's already here hanging out, we want to bring him on, or we got some more stuff to talk about. B, you got anything hot?
So can I just say, first of all, I'm super pumped to run your minis on Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday 6.
I can't wait.
What time? What time again?
So it's going to be at, what time is it? At
8:30 is what it's scheduled for.
8:30.
Right.
Central.
8:30 Central.
So that's 9:30 Eastern.
What time is that Australian?
It's a good question.
3 a.m. Who knows?
Rock, convert that for us, Rux.
So E and B are running my minis, and Ditto's going to run them the week after. So it's going to be
14th.
fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a bit of a weird week because we usually go on Saturdays on Whatnot, but this week we're going to do Friday because we probably won't be live on Saturday. So it's a really cool day to run something new and exciting, and I just can't wait to like see Rex in real life because it'll be the first time we see Rex, and
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
So
Can't wait.
17 hours after us.
B, before we bring SMEYE in, B, I just want to say I love the new do. You look lovely today.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Also, I've noticed
You
that
look
we've
okay.
got multiple
Appreciate that.
haircuts.
Thank you.
I was gonna say he cut his hair. It looks like you cut your hair ditto.
Mhm.
Rock's still, rocking the
Little
beard.
scruffy.
I'm digging
I
it.
got the cut today.
Hey.
I said you can't touch the beard because
Yes.
the Golden Knights are still in the playoffs. So
Two
until
more
we
wins,
lose,
baby. Two
or
more
win
wins.
it all.
I just think you should keep it. I really like it.
Not gonna happen. I hate it. Hate it.
You look
But-
kind of like a wizard.
I'm loyal. I'm loyal to my
Wizard
team.
Harry.
Speaking of movies, can I just say really quick that
Thank
E
you,
and
Rob.
I
Appreciate that.
went to go watch Spider-Man, and y'all, Into the Spider-Verse is like amazing, amazing.
Very, very good movie. If y'all
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet, y'all should see it.
The
It's-
A lot
art
of people
is
said that. It's really good.
beautiful. The art is just so beautiful. Like I want to hug every single artist that created that movie.
Right.
Like I almost I did cry at one part of it, but
Yeah,
I almost cry. I cry a lot, like in almost every movie.
She cried before the stream, just because she
A liar.
was so excited to be able to talk to Ditto and Rock, and she just started crying. And I was
I
like, "Why are
get
you
that.
crying?"
I get that. That's usually kind of
Usually that's how it works.
I will say I did get to see it too. Unfortunately, parts of your stream was sneaky this past week. I was in a movie theater, but it was unbelievable. Like I saw a review that said, "Run, don't walk to the theater to see it," and I agree 1,000% with that.
Do you
review.
have to have any preloaded movies before you see it?
You should see the first one, but you don't really have to. I don't think. Feel like,
Yeah.
but you probably should.
You should see the first one because
yeah. I kind of wish I had rewatched the first one, like really close to going to watch the second one. I had seen it, but yeah, it is nice to kind of. There's little things. It does do a quick recap at the beginning, but it's better to see it ahead of time.
There's a lot of little parts in the movie too that like they'll call back to the first movie.
Yeah.
Like especially those little jokes that they make. So
Do we? I spy something behind E and B. Is that the Bat Boy behind you that you have up?
oh yeah. You see it? You see how
He's
it
got
throws
it
off
up.
the symmetry?
Ditto. He figured out the issue and he put it up.
He takes up about 2 or 3
Space.
spots, but it's
Yeah.
it's all right. We got to figure it out.
Oh, you're talking about right
Yeah,
here.
with the wings.
Yeah. Yep.
He is very large and in charge.
Yeah, I
He
might have
is.
to take the wings off though. I don't know. I haven't decided. So
Maya
we'll
wants
see.
to know what our names are.
Our names are.
Like,
So
you mean
my
our-
name is Beth,
My
but
name
you
is-
can call me B.
I'm E.
That's Eric.
I'm
He's
E.
just E. I go by Ditto. I mean, that is how I'm known in the community. But my first name, I do have a podcast that I go by my first name, which is Tim.
He's Bob.
And I'm still under witness protection, so I go by Rock and Roll.
There you go. Perfect. Good answer.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah,
Ready.
we're
Let's do it.
ready.
Let's do it.
Hey, we're sponsored by today.
Oh, and Pepsi.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna bring on SMEYE World. If you guys do,
Let's go.
you all know what SMEYE World. You have not been to their website. You need to check it out. I was on there today, like going way deep into their website under the designer toy, you know, all the customs and stuff,
Oh,
because you know that's my life lately. And amazing pieces still available deep down in their website. So,
Not deep.
all right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Can we get a thumbs up from SMEYE World in the back in the green room? Why is Ditto bringing up? Oh, Ditto's got an extra screen.
ACB,
All right, here we go.
It was chaotic.
Welcome in. Welcome in.
What's up,
You're
Jonathan?
here.
Can you hear me?
Jonathan.
Am I on here?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
on.
here we go.
You're
How's it
on.
going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
We miss you, buddy. It's been a while.
Yeah. for
Yeah, I
real.
miss you guys too. There's like a weird. I'm trying to watch it on YouTube, but there's like a weird delay. Is that normal?
It
Maybe if
should
I-
be.
Okay,
if
here.
you're-
I'll watch it through StreamYard because that looks like it's.
Yeah,
clean
watch
or
it through
whatever.
StreamYard is
Yeah.
the best way to
Maybe
do
I
it.
can.
If you're on the
Then
show,
I can't see the comments, I guess. But
If
that's
you
fine.
if you pull open just the expand the chat and just disregard that and watch us on StreamYard, it should work better for you.
Yeah, you can pop the chat
I'll
out.
open a whole new window, or can I do it in the
You
tab?
can just pop the chat out.
click that little
Oh,
three dots where the chat is in
Ah,
the
word.
YouTube,
There you go.
Okay.
and then close YouTube
Pop
out
out
after
chat.
you do that,
Okay, so I can just close the
Mhm.
YouTube
and
out.
keep the chat.
Pop, lock, and drop it.
Wow,
And
man,
that
that's
chat out.
we're good
Slapshot's
to
in the
go.
building,
Okay.
guys. Say hello
What's
to
up,
John.
Slapshot?
Joanna.
What's up, John and Joe? What's going
They're
All
on?
in
right,
Canada.
now we're rocking. Okay, I think I'm good. What's up, guys? How's it going?
You know,
What's up, man?
Hello.
I have to say first off, before we get started, the only downfall from this being on YouTube is the dope soundtrack, the dope playlist that
Yes.
SMEYE would always have going
Man,
isn't
dude.
going today.
Smart
I
played
know.
the
I
most
hopped in like
interesting, best
like
music.
one whatnot for like the first time in a while, and it was like I was just like, oh, where's the good music? It was like top 40 stuff, and I was like, I can't do this, man. You guys need to calm down.
We need you back, man.
Hey, there's a spot for you anytime you're ready.
Yeah, maybe you'll see the revival. I don't know. How's it
Sure.
going over there? I really haven't really been on there for quite some time.
Why is that? What's
it's
going
been
on?
decent.
What's been happening?
It's-
I don't know. I think there is just, it was such a vibe there for a minute, when all of us were there and those early days of whatnot, it was just so synergetic and fun. And it did take a lot of, when we're doing the business and stuff like that, we're small and, have focuses and stuff. And it took a lot of our, time to do that, but it was, just such a blast and just felt so right. And then, I just felt for me personally, some of the direction that things were going and this kind of push to get everything on there, everyone on there.
Yeah.
I felt like when it was in beta, it was a little bit more curated. And I thought that was kind of like the kind of direction that things were going to be added kind of in a more, certain way like that. So it just, and so it kind of just was one of those things where it just fell apart for a few weeks for me. And then we just started kind of doing other stuff and everything like that. And so, yeah, you never know. Maybe we'll make the triumphant return,
Well, I believe if you did that, you'd be coming into a really, really large audience.
Oh yeah.
Anytime we talk about you, your name still comes up a lot behind the scenes.
yeah.
In good ways, Jonathan. Don't worry.
All good things. All good things.
Like,
Yeah, all
Yeah.
good things. But man, everybody always remembers like the good old days of whatnot when SMEYE was on, and he was like you were Thursday nights, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Thursday night vibe, and it was like when I talked to Ern and Grouper and BD and all of those guys, they are always like, man, we used to just watch his streams and like literally fall asleep and then like wake up and our streams would still be on the next day from SMEYE, So,
Yeah, I mean, it really was. It was one of the most special times I feel like I've had in all the toys. There's just something there that aligned. I mean, you guys are such a good, group of collectors, so enthusiastic about, actually about toys and stuff, which some collectors are, some aren't, stuff like that. But yeah, that was really a blast of an area. I can't say that I didn't have just as much fun as anybody else, you know.
Well, come back
Well,
in. The
what's-
water's warm, buddy. We missed you.
All
What's
right.
crazy is back then I didn't even really collect designer toys. I was more of a Funko guy, but I would hop in every Thursday just because it was like a family. You see all the familiar faces in the chat. It was just a good time, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
it was
then
like,
now, I mean, that was like
Yeah.
the gateway drug, and then now it's all designer, man.
It's partially your fault.
Yeah.
huh?
yeah, I've heard that from many people, you know, and that
Damn you, Jonathan.
First Yankees free. The first Yankees free, and then you're hooked.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I like them both too. I've always had one foot in both sides firmly planted. You know, I never
Mhm.
really feel like I leave one or the other. And I know there's some people on the designer side that have this very fine line when it comes to Funko and vice versa and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
it's all just toys. It's all just fun. You know,
Exactly.
whatever kind of floats your boat. You know.
Yeah.
agreed.
Yep.
You got a lot of people in the chat that are saying hello to you. That
Oh,
reminisce
okay, here
from-
we go. Yeah. Well, hello
Yeah.
to everyone. Sorry if I'm missing some of this. I do have the chat open, I believe. I'm hoping it's running here.
What's like the hot? What are you working on? What's the hottest thing going right now? What do you got going?
I mean, what we have this weekend is we're gonna plan this kind of big blind proto kind of con. We're gonna have about like 50 plus protos hit the site at once. But I am working on a couple things that they're not quite at fruition to like talk about just yet. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag because it's just early and it could still.
Oh, it's just us four. With nobody.
Yeah.
It could still crash, but there's been a couple things that I'm kind of excited that I hope are on the horizon. I don't know, so a couple of them I don't know if I'm allowed to say and stuff like that too. But mainly, honestly, man, we're just kind of like grinding away, like just surviving. And anyone, you've probably seen a lot of these shops, like some good, some bad, that we're closing by the day and stuff like that, left and right. There's a few of them that have gone under and things like that, and anyone who was really exposed to Funko wholesale, like the Corona thing, it really just wrecked them. And I don't know if they made some bad like decisions on how that went, but I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, in terms of getting stock that was being shipped, that wasn't being shipped. We had a pallet get lost for like a month. It was like $25,000.
You already paid for it, correct?
Yeah, we already paid for it, and
Yeah.
we had to call them literally like 11 times. Like, and I don't mean just like call and no one answers. I mean like involved phone calls with reps and this and that, and they would send it to this department and that department. And they finally found it. It was still there.
Wow.
So they're moved to Arizona and they're trying to get on their new whatever system and everything like that. This new distribution POS sale thing. I just think they really kind of, I don't know what happened exactly, and I'm not trying to say anything that's their particular fault or anything, and it was just a weird time. COVID created this weird tidal wave, and some of it was really fun and some of it wasn't, in terms of the reality of it. When you have kind of a big up, you can have a big down, and there was kind of just some weird exposure there. And so yeah, that made for a very difficult year for us, probably like all the way up into April, because then what starts to happen too is like, okay, so we are like, okay, we can't do business with you guys anymore because this is just like jamming us up, like 95% of we're answering emails on this, or it's taking up our time, we're talking to reps, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're not getting the product we want. They all of a sudden, it's like you have 20 whatever product that's sitting there that's lost, and you're getting like master cases of like Funko Gold at your door that's like stuff that hasn't even been released and is not selling well anyway, or whatever. So there's these dramatic things that are happening, and we made the decision where we're like, we're not going to be able to do this whole pre-order thing anymore. It's really jamming things up, and it was a tough business. And even when it's good, that whole system, anyone who's dealing with that, you're not making huge margins. They're at retail, pops are not expensive. You have to sell them in quantity, all these different things. But what was I going to say about that? Well, so then when you stop, right, you still have this list of pre-orders, so you're not taking incoming new pre-orders, but you have this this book of getting orders out, getting that product. So there's a while there where you're having to source a lot of you're stopping the cash in, so to speak, on that department, but the cash out has not stopped yet.
Yeah.
It's not just like something you can just be like, okay, we're done doing pre-orders. It's
Yeah.
like, well, we still have all this stuff on the books that we have to withstand and clean up and deal with and manage. And so there was a huge kind of battle there for a while. It just was standard small business, stay above the flat line, boots on the ground, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
So then you came over to the good side and just focus on designer toys.
No, you still do
No,
both.
I
though,
know.
don't you?
I know. I
Oh, we
cannot
still do
believe-
both, and honestly, even designer toys and stuff had other kind of issues in that regard. There was just and a lot of it can circle around production and production times, and then when it lands and everything. And then we had obviously inflation hit here, and there's just was some weird influx, right? Like if you just think about COVID being like, not regardless of it being like an actual pandemic, just take that part out of it, but look at the economics of it. It's just like an economic tidal wave that rose a bunch of stuff, that depleted a bunch of stuff. It's like if you owned a bar, right when COVID hit, that was like the worst time for you. But if you owned like a Peloton store or whatever, that was the best time for you.
Right.
So there's this weird thing. And then maybe, now the Peloton guy's like, oh, everyone's gone, and the Hawaiian bar guy's like, hey, I'm back in business. So there's this like,
Well, and you had the supply, like even for like the artists that would do resin printing, right? They couldn't get resin, they couldn't get parts for their machines, and it just all just backed up. Like it was bad.
Really simple stuff. And then you also might say, okay, well, I can't get it, and I know I can't get it for 6 months. Okay, well, if I can't get it for 6 months, give me 100 instead of 10. But then by the time you get the 100, you only need the 10, and it's all back to normal. So you're dealing with this excess. So when supply chains get like weird like that, it really, there's just a lot of these crazy little variables that happen. And if you're like an Apple type company or something like that, not only are you getting like the pick of the litter when it comes to the supply chain, but you have all this robustness to you to maybe slow it down, speed it up, survive it. But a lot of these small businesses, those types of waves, I do think that there were a lot of them that were doing risky or even to the point of shady business. Maybe there's kind of like, hey, we're playing a high risk game here. But some of the people that were heavy into pre-orders, I think you just get caught off sides. It's almost like being on like the wrong side of like a stock trade or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like you just made this big bet, like, hey man, I'm gonna get this warehouse, I'm gonna fill it up, we're gonna get anime exclusives, we're gonna get this, we're gonna carry whole Funko line, I'm gonna show Funko, I'm gonna be the Funko empire and stuff like that, and or whatever. You get this big grand idea, and there's nothing wrong with that business, maybe, but when you're not foreseeing, and I've always thought about that, and I personally, I think we probably would have been freer not doing that for like longer, and focusing on the stuff that I was really passionate about. And in the beginning and stuff, I think it was good, but I think it just it wasn't something that was our specialty. And I think that even too, as like a Funko wholesaler or something, like you want to kind of, it's something you really want to have it be like part of your specialty, if that makes sense.
I couldn't believe how many protos I saw on the website still, like up. It was a lot.
Yeah. There's a few good ones out there right now, and we'll be dropping some more too on Sunday, so that'll be fun.
Let's talk a little bit about the mystery box game. You're very known for really high quality mystery boxes, and you've been doing them for a while. I've actually fared pretty well on your mystery boxes. I've got a ducky under my belt.
I
won a YouTube box battle because of you, so thank you for that. But I will say that I feel like there's still a lot of content providers out there. There's still a lot of people that like to do the box battles. There's still kind of the gamble aspect of doing these mystery boxes. Talk about kind of your philosophy and your take on the mystery box game a little bit, and where you think things are right now and maybe headed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a loaded question. Some of it's like we've been doing it for long enough where I'm just like, God, man, I sometimes I feel just as out of touch as anyone else, right? You got your head in this like ground in your business, and you've been kind of doing certain things a certain way, and And as far as mystery boxes go, I do feel that there's been a one, I think they're just a staple, and I hope that they stay a staple because I do think that they're needed to just keep the fun, and there needs to be a balance. You don't want stores just obviously moving loads of dead stock, but it's a way to enjoy toys, and you, as long as you get like your value and everything was going on, it's like this should be something fun. And if you're doing it for that, the guys that are hitting it hard to try to say, hey man, that box sucked. It's like, what do you mean, dude? You got like $130 worth of stuff for like $100. Like,
Right.
you can't look at it that way, but at the same time, you don't want like a retailer to just be, somehow like abusing that. But I do think it's actually a very fundamental thing in the industry. I really do. I mean, in terms of just the way the whole ecosystem works, how we have fun cracking mystery boxes. It's just like blind boxes with Pop Mart and designer toys and this and that. There's just something about it. And I hope that doesn't get run over. I do think that the accessibility has gone way up, right? I mean, you didn't used to have like, back kind of probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, there were a fair amount of mystery boxes, but there was really only a handful of people doing kind of like, I don't know, kind of more full blown good mystery boxes. And now you've got Whatnots or this or that, and YouTubers, right, that have kind of stepped into this. We're stepping into like a new era of, I don't know, like e-commerce, and I kind of feel like a dinosaur in it too. It's like it's about this kind of like short form content, the TikToks or the Whatnots or the the influencers are more of the brand people or the retail people than I think this like online shop that we are is kind of almost like the new brick and mortar almost, if that makes sense. And so I think that I don't know, that's changed things a little bit. I do think of a good mystery box is very hard to do.
Yeah.
In terms
Agreed.
of something that doesn't just, people think it's like, oh, that's simple. They just put pops in a box. But I think in terms of something that you don't screw yourself on. I mean, there's been plenty of boxes where I'm like, damn, we like probably shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like it just was not financially smart to do what we just did.
Yep. And I've done mystery boxes too, Jonathan. And I know that there's probably, you're like me, I'm sure, and that there's that kind of a lot of time and effort goes into putting those things together. And you really do kind of put a lot of care into it. And you want people to get the good value or a good experience, or even if they don't hit per se, they still feel good about it. So sometimes you kind of find yourself straying over that line where
totally.
Yeah, right.
Totally. And sometimes too, you can stray over that line and you didn't do it in the right way, where you kind of screwed yourself and you didn't quite make even a good mystery. There's ones that kind of, I can feel the good ones when they come together. It's like, okay, there's some synergy here. Like this is good. We got everything like right where we want it. And to do that week in and week out, it gets hard. And then it comes down also to, like we're a business, right? We have overhead, we have expenses. We're not like someone that's just on Whatnot, maybe as like a private seller, or someone that's maybe like, hey man, you know what? I got on Whatnot. I've built this collection up over 5 years. I'm just going to blow it out in these mystery boxes. And I don't care what my margins are. And I don't care what my this is. But, sometimes I think that we can lose, and we're pretty lean, right? I think that's one of the reasons that we survived. We had to let a couple kind of employees go and different things like this, but for the most part, we're a lean business. So even though we have overhead, we don't have like a ton of overhead, but that still comes into play where you cross that line and it's like, I made these people happy, but at the same time, I have very tight margins and I'm trying to adhere to those as well without, so you're kind of playing like the devil and the angel over here, constantly talking to you on the head, and one saying like, hey man, just throw that in, don't worry about it. And some of it honestly is just prep, right? Like we'll do a mystery and maybe like pack it, and it's just kind of like on the fly, and it's like I almost had to put more value in it because I didn't have time to do the right groundwork and really get everything like laid out. you know, in terms of like, you know, structurally, like I am going to pull from this and this and this, and you kind of feel like, you know, it's kind of like having colors in your paintbrush or something, and you know, when you got them all laid out, you can kind of, you know, do it that way. But I do hope they stay around, and we're always really happy when people enjoy our boxes or buy our boxes, and it's something that we try to provide, you know, weekly to some degree. And you know, we're really, you know, appreciative, and yeah, we're always trying to at least hit that like point.
Well, I feel like you guys put together great mystery boxes. I mean, just this conversation. I mean, if you're in the chat and you buy mystery boxes or you've created a mystery box, Jonathan from Slapshot Pops just said that, you know, there's a need for good quality boxes in the marketplace right now, because, you know, you kind of touched on it. A lot of them are watered down, but just the way you describe putting it together and that explanation, I think shows that anybody who really takes care with their mystery boxes, like SMEYE does, or like I do with my March Madness and a few other things I've done, and like Rock's done before with his sodas, and, you know, really a lot of people in the chat, Slapshot Pops, others, it takes a lot of effort. So like if you're buying those mystery boxes and you're buying it from a reputable company like SMEYE, just know that look at what he just talked about in putting together. That wasn't just I mean, that's well thought out, right? That's something that I don't think a lot of people are educated on, even today, still 4 or 5 years, you know, into the kind of mystery boxes kind of hitting it hard and hot during the pandemic. So I think that's good to educate, you know, some people and the collectors, because mystery box, when they're put together, it's its own animal, and it does take a lot of time and care and effort.
Totally. And I still look at even other retailers and other people, and they'll drop a box, and I'm just like, you know, how are they going to pack that, or how are they going to put that together, or how are they even making any money doing that? You know what I mean? And so I think that's too, it's like we all got to watch, like we want to, you know, it's always like down the middle to me. I always want to make it fair on both sides, right? Like I don't need you to give me some screaming or like overpay me by $1 billion. I don't need to put something on sale to make it, you know, way less. It's like, hey, let's do down the middle. And another thing that's cool about, you know, not only all of this, but mystery boxes as well, is, you know, it's a way to go out and support your friends, the companies you like, you know, whoever. And you have to think like, once these toys leave retail and you're buying a pop from 2019, 18, 17, 16, like the only people that are getting supported in that situation are the people that we bought it from. Right. And then us, and you know what I mean? It's just a communal thing, and you receiving it and stuff like that. So there's really a lot of like community involved, even though it can seem like this like licensed toy or this big thing or this Freddy Funko. But when you really look at like the chain that thing just took in that kind of miniature travel right there, and it maybe started at SDCC 5 years ago, and it has a long chain of that. But really, you know, there's only 4 or 5 entities in that whole thing that it's benefiting. And when we do better, I mean, we've had people, you know, from collections that we've bought be able to get, you know, life-changing surgeries, put a, you know, mortgage down on their home, you know. So we get a lot of thanks even on some, maybe like the buying side and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things like that are very communal in the ecosystem. So when you're buying your mystery boxes, you know, I would say, yeah, of course, buy the ones you like, but also just consider who you're buying them from. And if you like them, that's a big part of it too, you know?
Yeah, research is key. And I mean, you know, Rock and Roll's done YouTube video after YouTube video on this, as have some of the other YouTubers in here. And I think they'd always preach, you know, do your research. But if you know that there's a company that's reputable, and a lot of the times it's just referral, you know,
and we've had some problems in the last year and a half, 2 years, with the smaller guys doing mystery boxes and promising stuff and not delivering and going out of business and just cutting everybody off, owing them hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars in stuff that they owe them. Orders never got sent out. So we always preach to go with somebody that's reputable, it's been around a while, or that you know personally. I mean, that's the best way to say it, because you just never know. You just never know.
Well, it's definitely something like Ditto touched on. It can be underestimated. I mean, even me, like to this day, I'll still underestimate like, you know, even we'll just do like a maybe 4 pop 60 box mystery or something, and I'm just like, holy crap, man, I don't know if I'm getting old or what, but like even something like that, I mean it, being small and stuff and not having a fleet of employees or doing anything like that, like
Yeah.
it does take time and effort. And I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that get really, I mean, even me when I was, I just happened to kind of, I think there were times probably early in our life cycle that things were hard and couldn't have gone my way a couple times, and maybe I, was able to keep going. But I kind of ran into that with that same naive nature too, right? Like, oh sure, it's only 100 boxes, like we can do that, I can figure that out, I can do this. And there's a lot more to it when the rubber meets the road, and it's easy to kind of get caught up in that and realize that you're just like, you know I think some of these guys, they really truly are nefarious, and those motives start out, early on, and that's just where they were the whole time. Or they're just playing careless and they don't see this side of it. But I do think that there's probably some genuine, people out there and shops out there that, like, man, they just got clobbered,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they just made a bad decision that they didn't foresee. Just like it's like, a flood going through a home, it's just like the same kind of thing. And then you're stuck in that position of not knowing what to do and maybe not having the money. And I definitely feel for at least those people, and as far as the other people, but I think they come out and at least are more open and honest maybe about what happened.
I know
So
we've gotten a couple of questions, Rock, I know, that came in while we were talking about
Yeah.
that. I don't know if you want to circle back. Joel had one question. He was asking, what do you think the role of the metaverse will be related to designer toys and other collectibles, Jonathan?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I definitely think that there's this kind of possibility of, we've already seen the link with kind of NFTs and toys, and but I personally think that in terms of like the metaverse or that whole thing, that we're still like early in that. What I would think would be cool is more of maybe, I don't know, like I kind of like the idea of maybe having like an NFT or something embedded into a physical toy, where, like, I don't know if that's like the only way you could get it, was instead of, some sort of digital kind of thing like that goes into it. But I definitely think that, designer toys have a lot of artists that are multimedia artists, and
Yeah.
they're very creative, and digital art is only getting more expansive and more creative. But you also have, the AI stuff coming into play. It's just a strange time, and I think a lot of the tech industry likes to throw a lot of big buzzwords around and get people thinking like, what's the next big thing? But I think there's also this kind of stall in tech right now while we get to whatever this like next era is. I mean, you saw like Apple just did like the Vision Pro. Did you see those $3,500 AR glasses that
That's
they
crazy.
just?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do look wild, and I do think it's going to be something experiential. But I think it also shows you that we're that's where we're at. There's no kind of like iPad or like iPhone or like this next new changing thing that's going to be adopted by like the masses yet, right? We're in this almost like research and development stage where these $4,000, $3,000 ideas are coming out and being experimented with, and then they'll be there. But I think anytime that the metaverse is going to be like, anytime that the metaverse is going to be around in full swing, you best believe that all these creative guys are going to be doing something with it. You know what I mean?
Something that I thought Mighty Jacks actually did a good job with was I bought I think it's an Eve from JPK Eve, and after you buy it, you can actually tap your phone, you peel off a little sticker, and then you can add it to your digital shelf on their app. So you have your physical version of the collectible, and then you also have it on your digital shelf as well.
Yeah. See, I like the idea of stuff like that more than kind of like, I don't know. I think there was a lot of experimenting going on with like the NFTs and even like Funko doing the NFTs. I mean, I think that a lot of people are just buying those packs, right, to get a mystery chance at getting the physical edition. So
100%.
yeah. So, you know, to me, that was like, I wish that they would kind of evolve that a little bit or figure a way to make that like a little more practical on the side, that if you don't get this, you know, limited physical edition, I mean, even do it with like I don't know how exactly you do it, but it's kind of their way of doing mystery boxes, I guess, in a way. But I think there's been a lot of experimentation, but I don't think that truly yet a lot of this stuff has really, you know, stuck. You know, maybe kind of like CryptoPunks and different things, and some of those like blue chip kind of NFTs, or what's like I'm trying to think of some of the metaverse kind of games that were big, Sandbox, or
Can I
anyway.
just say that I thought metaverse for 2 seconds when they asked that question was
Yeah,
like
so-
how Marvel's universe was evolving. I was like, I'm sorry, what are we talking about Marvel for right now? So yeah, because I just saw Pop and Patty ask, what is the metaverse? And I was like, I'm right there with you, Patty.
And I'm
Figured it
100%.
out.
I'm old, so I don't get into the NFTs
Hey, Zach,
and
good to
all
see you,
that.
buddy.
I can't wrap my brain around it. Where it's there. You can't touch it. So I'm not a big fan of any of that stuff. But it is. They're thinking of it already. Like right now, they're coming up with what the next big thing is, and hopefully that they do incorporate it into a physical thing. Then I'd be
Yeah.
all about it. I would be
Yeah.
100% in.
Well,
If
I
it,
think, you know, collectibles and toys and all that, you know, there's an element of it that the reason why we do it is because you can't download it, right? The reason why, you know, this physical thing, this nostalgic thing, I tend to like, there's so much. I'm a very big digital guy. I've got, you know, my phones and my games and my this and my that. I love watching the new tech stuff come out. I love paying attention to it all. I'm not anti you know, the other side, but I think collecting in its, you know, very basic nature is a very like almost ancient form of, you know, humanity, and that we've been hunters and gatherers and this and that. And I like when things are, you know, that physical. And I like Rock and Roll said, you know, tying that in to where there is something physical, and oh, we experience this like digital thing to it and stuff like that. But yeah, to me, the whole like, let's make collectibles go on the blockchain digital, it's like, well, that just like defeats the purpose to me, you
exactly.
know?
That's a whole point exactly.
Yeah, you're trying to escape from that a little bit because you're doing it with your video games or your work or your phone or your family or your FaceTime. Like there's already some of that. And so, and I think we already, like right now, you know, we're incorporating this digital experience, but it's still around this physical medium. And I personally think also that yeah, I think collecting is very grounding to a lot of people. There's a lot of reasons why people collect, and it's nostalgia, it's art, it's this, it's that. But, you know, maybe something that doesn't get talked about as much too is like even anxiety or depression or this or that. There's an element of, you know, kind of getting this thing, putting it on the shelf, looking at it, really enjoying it. I think that whole experience is, you know, when done right, like it's very healthy for someone, you know?
Yep, 100%. I have a totally different question. That we nailed that question, but I have something different. Before I forget, I want to ask this, and I didn't even write it down, but I want to ask that. So in designer toys, I was on your website, like I was telling these guys before, and I was really digging like through all the different tabs in the designer toy area, and you know a lot of stuff was sold out, of course, because it's super limited. But you keep it up there, which I really like, because you can go back and see what these artists have made, and it really is cool to see where they've come from, and you know the previous toys that they made. How do the artists come to you, or do you like go to the artist and say, okay, we want to do a 3-piece run of this custom chomp, or we want to, you know what I mean? Like, do they come to you, or do you go to them and kind of work out something?
I'd say it's kind of like organic, but I think mostly that, you know, artists are probably more approached than, you know, they're out approaching in total. We don't if you really look back, you know, you can see that we like to work with some of the same people constantly because we're just usually Uber fans, or that we've developed really good relationships with them and just believe in them as people and want to, love their toys, love what they do, support them. They support us, develop these relationships. But I don't think there's any one way. I've never personally put together just like a very big kind of like gallery style one-off show, right, where you've got like 30 or 35 or 40 different artists doing this huge custom show, maybe like Clutter or Martian Toys or some of these other guys. And I think that they are a little bit more embedded in the designer toy scene than we are. And I think that they probably have some systems that they have where these people get on email lists or something, where opportunities, and they say, hey, yeah, I'll do that show. Stuff like that. But I don't think we've ever, it's more either like a friendship develops first or something like that. But we definitely don't just like open up our inbox and there's like 10 artists being like, hey man, love to paint a run for you guys or whatever.
I'm thinking, so there's Clav, there's Evil Dave, and then Rombitz. I know are 3 that I see pretty regularly on the toys.
Yep. Those are
all do amazing work.
Yeah, Rombitz is actually unfortunately he is in another career and it was just too time consuming. So
gotcha.
He was here for a long time, really good friend of mine, and he actually did all the graphics on the site and everything like that. We worked together for a long time. And so there was just some stuff there, and he is basically just got swamped with a new job and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, Clav is one of my all-time favorite artists, all-time favorite guys in the industry. I always love to support him, always love his work. I mean, half the toys I look at each day, I'm like, oh, that would look sweet if Clav painted it. You know what I mean? Like I actually
bought one of the crates pretty recently that he put out, and I was fortunate enough to get one of the APs.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
So excited.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, he hand embellished those, and he's just a great guy. I don't have enough good things to say about him. Very even keeled, very just, but I also just love his work, and really think that his style, I think, is one of those ones where you either just like fall in love with it, or maybe it's not for you because it's that weathered, distressed kind of style. But so he's one we worked with. We're actually working more with Dave too coming up, so you might even see something this weekend. But so let's see. Yeah, we've worked with him several shows in the past. Super nice guy as well, but we kind of we're just kind of taking the relationship a little bit further, and we're going to see how that progresses. But he should be kind of a more SMEYE staple,
So
go ahead.
Do these like all these different designs, like when they do custom chomps or whatever, do they customize them and then send them to you, or do they ship them out for you? Do you guys drop ship them or what?
No, they'll ship them back here, and generally it's Rombitz was local here, so we didn't have to deal with that. But they'll ship them back here. And a lot of times, depending on the project too, like a lot of those I co-design with them, where we're talking about colorways and ideas and, this and that. And then other ones where it's more like, hey, I said, be like, hey, just go nuts and do this or do that. So there's a wide spectrum of like, is this, the artist, just kind of doing their own style, or are we like kind of working together, bouncing ideas off, getting it down, stuff like that.
There's some amazing work on there.
I love those Freddies. That's honestly one of my favorite things we've ever released, just because to my knowledge, I think that's some of the only Funko that Clav's ever painted. And so
they're beautiful. I remember when those dropped, they sold out pretty instantly, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. Well, and also congrats on 5 years, because I saw that also is.
Oh yeah, I know, it's crazy, huh? I can't believe
especially in this day and age, and you discussing the whole difficulties with COVID and stuff. It's a pretty phenomenal feat. So
it feels like it, man. I mean, year I guess 4 to 5. Yeah, I mean, we rolled in just like. I mean, it was tough, and I was just going through, it was just kind of a personal, life stuff was happening, professional stuff, and we're just kind of digging it out. And I think that you know, I'm also someone, I really operate on passion and stoke and stuff like that. Like I need like projects that I'm just like into and things I'm really excited about, because that just gives me the motivation, right? I like, money to me is something that's a practical thing that we like have to try to figure out so we can eat and sleep and pay the, you know, keep the business running. But I could really, you know, care less about it after that functionality phase of it. You know, so even if things are maybe going well on that front, I don't have, um you know, I need those kind of things to get stoked. So I feel like the anniversary put a little fire under us, and we're kind of coming back here to get a little more zesty as we can, you know. And the thing about it is when we do well, if we do well, we just pump it all right back in, right? So it's just like kind of like going all back into like more fun and
Yep.
more stuff. And we're not people who I don't know, are rarely extracting anything from this, you know, community. When you look at it, it's like we're buying collections, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. There's not kind of like a sieve being taken out. I feel like it's all kind of always ends up kind of going back in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to grab this real quick because I just got it right here in arm's reach. Speaking of Dave, here's one we still have on the site. I just put it on the shelf over here today.
That's amazing.
That is insane.
I know, isn't that crazy?
So cool.
Dave is awesome, man. And one
That's
of the
crazy.
things too is like, so first, I don't know if you can tell, I'm always bad with these cameras, but it's got really nice metallic look to it.
Oh wow, yeah, I can see that. It's super shiny.
Yeah, and his just the gloss and the finish, like it really just feels like, I don't know, it feels so good, like production, you know? I mean, certain customs, they can still be like amazing, but there's I don't know, there's something about a really nice finish on the gloss that gives it like just a feel where I can put my hands on it. I feel like I could almost just, you know, drop this on the ground. I never would, but it's that kind of finished and durable and
Solid.
beautiful, you know, solid.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
it's a crazy
awesome.
The
piece.
detail on that is ridiculous.
His
Yeah.
art is very like you can tell it's his work too, which I really like. I love when you see a piece from an artist and you can automatically pinpoint who
Yep.
did it.
Very
Yeah,
identifiable.
totally.
And the layout to that, if you look at how intricate all the different in between the eyeballs and all that, like he has to lay that out so it looks symmetrical on both sides.
Yes.
Like that is insane. And he probably just freehanded it. Like he probably just started
Oh yeah.
going
Yeah,
to
he
town.
freehanded this, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Super nice guy too. So yeah, we've kind of linked up now, and we're going to be working together, and we've been working on some projects together. So I'm excited, and hopefully we'll see the some of the fruits of that here, maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend. But yeah, he's going to be kind of a regular staple here. So yeah, the way that I've done it is like, and I've thought too, and we did, you know, each SMEYECon or anniversary, we kind of try to maybe incorporate a new artist and do this, but I've got my staples like those guys that I'm like, dude, I love your stuff. I want to support you. I want to carry it. I want to do it. And I'll always, you know, favor that over,
Yeah.
like we want to just treat everyone like family, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just kind of once you come into the fold as like a customer, once you come into the, you know, whatever, it's just like, nah, you're here, and we're not gonna be like, oh, you had Clav last anniversary. It's like, well, we're gonna have next anniversary, guys. So get ready for year 6 because he'll be there. You know what I mean?
And why not? Like it's beautiful. Like why wouldn't you? You know?
Totally.
Well, you got a good reputation for that though too, Jonathan, for, you know, treating your customers well and like family. I mean, that's why we've all, you know, endured for many years being customers of yours, because you're so likable.
Endured. It's like, oh, that's why we've been out.
No, I don't. Endured was a bad word. My apologies.
No, I know. No, I appreciate that. And honestly, I mean, I have to say the same likewise too. I mean, the customers are just, I mean, I can't stress enough to people how much of this is community driven, how much when we do sales, we're still just a small business thinking about how to make our next month rent and how to, you know, do this and hope we don't, you know, do that. And and it's only because we all, you know, have this shared common interest that any of this stuff even happens. And so we're always appreciative, and you know, it's part of the reason why we've you know, been here and kept doing it too. I mean, it all just revolves around that same thing, and we're always really aware of that. You know what I mean? We're never, that's never not like a thing for us. You know, it's like, oh, blah blah, just ordered. Oh, sweet man, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That never like leaves. You know.
Well,
See?
Aaron says that they got into designer
too.
toys because of you guys. So
Blame Jonathan.
That's big earn, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys could start a toy company. Blame Jonathan Toys. You know.
So just going back to, like, you know, day one, what was your very first, if you can remember, your very first designer toy or your first series that you collected?
First designer toy. That's interesting. I feel like I had some more, but if I really want to, and I want to say maybe I had a dunny or two back in the day. I can remember actually being in my family's from Holland. My mom was born there, and I used to go there sometimes. I remember I
Oh, wow.
seen like a dunny in like a shop there way back when, thinking like, "Whoa, this is far out." But that was pre like getting into it. I really think that the tech was probably the very early, like I Am Retro dropped like the Super Nintendo 6-inch colorway. I think that was an early one. I'm trying to think of one or two of the ones that really go like, wow, dude, what is this? You know, kind of stuff like that. So that's one that I remember in like recent memory that that like kind of like inspired me, were some of those very first kind of like 6-inch techs that were coming out. But I think I've always been attracted to, you know, creativity, artists, you know, and independent businesses, independent artists, independent companies, you know, stuff like that. And so there's a lot of that being happening in the designer toy world. And, you know, I always want those things to continue to happen, because that's really indie from tip to tail, right? I mean, even the people that producing it, they're, you know, Funko might sell us, and Funko was indie too at one point and stuff like that, and they started, you know, 1998 and everything like that. But you know, there's this publicly traded company, Mega License, whatever, and I'm not saying they're the big bad corporate wolf or anything, but you know, we buy a pop from them and it's 10-15 bucks, and then after that it kind of goes into the community. But when you buy from like a Martian Toys or something like that, you know, they're getting that produced. They're going from, you know, that whole line, that whole chain of command, and taking on even a lot of risk doing that, different things like that. And so it really, from the get-go, is something that's only, you know, independent. You know what I mean? That there's no big sponsors, or there's no multi-million-dollar company involved. Maybe the factory or something. I don't know what their finance is, but my guess is some of those factories too are just, you know, out there trying to compete and be a small factory out there or whatever, you know.
I think that's one of the reasons why we like the creatives cards. I don't know if you're familiar with the creatives, but you know, it's all kind of
from Angel, right?
Yes, so it's a very from the artist for the community, you know, just very and all the artists that we've like talked to have just been so down to earth. And
yeah, he's totally like that, man. That guy is freaking, is, you know, just as real deal human as it gets. You know, I've met him a couple times, but just a very nice guy, a very, you know, he's definitely for us, by us kind of guy, you know, and does a lot of stuff like that. So
I know you said you didn't ever do a gallery thing, but if you ever decided you wanted to do a big run of one of ones, you know, we've got a big line of artists that would be interested in that. So
I want to try to do kind of a bigger custom show at some point. So I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Let us know, because we're in contact with a lot of them. Like they did some one-on-ones for my new mini series that I'm doing.
Yeah. I know one of the artists was in the chat, I believe.
Yeah, Rux won. He's from Australia.
What mini series were you doing?
I'm doing a resin mini series. So all different types of my figures, and I'm doing them all myself, printing them, painting them. That's a shrunken head Mickey Mouse.
Oh, like, nice.
Did you that was kind of hard to see on cam.
But sculpted?
It's 3D sculpted and then resin printed.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Congrats.
So these artists came on board and they were just like loving. They wanted to do it. They're like, yes, let's do this. Like they're ready to get their stuff seen. You know.
Totally. Well, I think you guys should definitely keep,
There's a
as
few
much as
more
you
of them.
can. Oh wow, yeah, that's
They're
rad.
cute.
Yeah, you guys should, keep getting out there and pushing the channel and pushing this and keep going, because I think too, one thing right now, and what happens in some of these times when the economy gets a little tough, when things got a little weird with the supply chain, when things aren't, I guess, going swimmingly, there's a massive amount of talent floating around right now that really is hungry to get on some stuff and really wants to just show what they've got, and they want to work and they want to do cool things. And so there's going to be some really cool budding, some seeds are getting planted right now, and it's the perfect time to just put your nose to the ground and keep planting those seeds and stuff, because yeah, we all need to um, kind of do what we can to just make sure that this hobby and everything that we enjoy about it is alive and well and everything too.
Keep promoting. Just keep getting them out there.
Where did the name SMEYE World come from? Ern actually brought that up in the chat.
Oh yeah. It's been a while since I've told this story, but it's actually like, it was a mock company that I made in. So there's this kid, I think his name is Brent or Brett or something, and he got a job at this like t-shirt factory, and he was kind of like a friend of a friend. Like, I don't know, we weren't ever really good friends, but like, word on the street was like Brent can get like $4 t-shirts or something like that, and we're like freshmen in high school. And so I'm like, oh man, we got to design like a company, and make like t-shirts, that's like the really good idea. And so I designed like, I came up with like 6-7 names. I don't even think I ever did logos or anything like that, but I came up with like 6-7 names, and I kind of went around and like asked everybody, like friends, family, kids at school, like, okay, this name, that name, this name, that name, and one of the only ones I remember, they were all really corny, and even like SMEYE World is probably kind of thinking back on it, but that was one of the names, and so then it just didn't do anything for, I don't know, 15 years or whatever, and then it's like, well, what should we call it? And it was kind of just a joke, like, let's call it SMEYE World, and yeah, that's really just where it came from.
Wow.
That's the best way that stuff works out.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of this funny story. I mean, I think in one regard that's given us a good identity. It's kind of, it does represent that we're a little bit different, that like, what's this all about? On the other hand, people are like, is it SMEYE World, SMEYE World, my world?
Yeah.
What's it all about? And so yeah, and actually the spelling, the EYE, is intentional as well, because still one of my favorite rappers to this day, but I was really into him at the time, was Idea, EYEDEA. And so I just figured like eyeball, and I just put that EYE in there, but I see when you read it like phonetically now. But yeah, that's really just it,
Or as Vince from Pop and Duo would say, SMEYE.
Yeah.
Well, one quick question: where'd the ducky come from? How did you decide you wanted to do duckies for like your Grail hits?
Honestly, just another, like, I just wanted things to be just like fun and random, and
Cool. Yeah.
Can you just take some time and make up some like better stories? Like, we need better.
Yeah, there wasn't any like grand thing to that, other than just like, I can't even remember quite how it was, but yeah, it's just that's, I think, part of the reason why we collect and why we do what we do and do whatever, it's like, it's just like, kind of like, why not? And I didn't want it to be like, you've won a mega grail, blah blah blah, or whatever, like. So it's kind of like, what's this? What does this mean? And people have gotten a lot of joy, I feel like, over the years with it. It really feels like something that, people save their duckies or are so stoked to get one. One thing, actually, I will ask you guys, maybe you guys can give your feedback on this. So we used to do a lot more duckies, actually, in terms of like in the box. Like sometimes it would almost be like a little mystery box within the box. Like a ducky wasn't always, it was usually like, let's say back in the day we did a $20 mystery box, maybe we'd say a $30 pop and over would like get a ducky. And kind of lately, we've been doing it more just like, the top 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
whatever. There's only a couple duckies in the whole thing to make them kind of like more
Special.
rare. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of wondering, like, I was talking about it, and like maybe we should bring that back of doing more like, anything over the price of the box gets a ducky or something like that. Or
Me personally, I like the exclusiveness of it. I like the grail. Make it the grail duck. That's my opinion.
that's kind of what I veered into as well.
I know this is PG-13 and all, but I lost my shit when I got my ducky. I was like, "Oh my god, I got a ducky!" So,
Somebody in the chat said that you look like a young Chuck Norris.
It's true. I've met Chuck Norris in person, and he does. Jonathan does. He does.
Chuck Norris lives 15 minutes from us. Isn't that weird?
that is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
You guys are like best friends.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's
Okay, Zach says he likes the rarity. Yeah, okay, well, we'll keep it rare. So then, because that's what I felt like too. There was a point where I'm like, hey, man, people are getting really excited about these. And then all of a sudden you just like open it. It's like, oh, it's just like.
Right.
Yeah, because then it wouldn't be as exciting to get one. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have that prestige.
No. But in the beginning, it kind of was like that. Like you got a ducky, and that was almost like stage 2. It was kind of like the Russian doll. Like, okay, we know that we've cleared like the commons, right? We know we've gotten here, but we could either have the top pop or have like a mid pop still. That's how. And so initially we would do maybe like 5, 10 duckies or something. But I was like, I sided with you guys as well. I thought, let's only do this for like the, you know what I mean?
Maybe you could get some ducky stickers that you could sell on your website so that people that really wanted a ducky could, get a ducky sticker.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do like even just get like if you could do the charms and get like your own ones produced. I don't know what that would cost to maybe do something that small, but maybe do like, where you could do like buy 1,000 of them and get like glow duckies or something, or where it's actually like a certified SMEYE ducky that
there you go.
Only we have.
So we've all dipped our toes in both Funko waters and designer toy waters, and obviously
I think I've ducked both my feet and my head into Funko.
He drowned in both.
Buried his head and then unburied it. But nevertheless, this is about art and designer toys and designer toy artists and cool stuff. So I guess if they're cool, Rock and Roll and I come out of the Funko world primarily, and I shouldn't say that. Rock's actually got some roots in designer toys early on. I kind of got heavy into designer toys thanks to you, SMEYE, and E&B and Earn and Group and all those guys. But if you were, because people are going to come watch this that are still kind of Funko purists. I mean, not that we're trying to just convert them and say don't collect Funko, but if you were going to kind of try and tell people who collect Funko that don't know a lot about designer toys and kind of the charm and appeal for becoming a designer toy enthusiast, like how would you, I guess, try to encourage people to get into designer toys? Because it really is, I mean, there's so many cool benefits to designer toys, at least from my aspect. I'm just curious where you stand on that.
Totally. Well, I think one thing that you have to kind of look at first is, does this person like really love toys? I think that some of these people, and I still like, I have a huge heart with Funko in terms of toys and in terms of that style of like the Americana and the nostalgia and everything like that. And so I'm still very much a 50-50 guy in terms of where my heart lies. But, I think that there's some people that just get caught up in they just don't even realize how long they've been looking at just the value or just this or just that or the game or what everyone else likes, and maybe don't even take a minute to step back and really like, hey man, just enjoy those things, like just sit there and have some fun with it, and whether it's a $500 grail or a $15 pop, you can have different experiences and different fun. But as far as like designer toy goes, I guess if you're just going to talk about like products and different things that they might get exposed to that are fun, I think obviously a lot of like the Pop Mart and like the blind boxes and different things like that are very cool, kind of low cost exposure to different toys. And I think, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I think there is it's kind of like a Venn diagram where I really do think there are people that are just that kind of are license based, nostalgia based, and that's kind of just how they're going to be and how they understand it. And I think there's people that are very art based. You know, you have a lot of people in the designer toy world that are like, I don't really understand Funko, you know. But I think pretty much what you guys are doing right now, what I did maybe with Whatnot, what other people did, it's more just about loving toys and sharing that with people. And whether it's Funko or whether it's designer or whether it's this, is just, you know, people are going to hopefully, you know, just be infected off your infection, you know, if you know what I mean. Like they're just going to
Yeah.
pick up your passion and see that and get it. And I also think the process and stuff, like people don't know, like maybe if you look at like Fifth Turtle or something and the hand casting and the things that go into it and how it's just, you know, that style of production versus like a factory versus, like, you know, there's so many different aspects to that. But I think it's coming somewhat more homogenized by the day.
Yep.
And I think it's also, it's an energy thing, right? Like people like to be around like the energy. So when that energy gets created and there's kind of just like I know some people, they say, "Oh, you're just hopping on the hype train." It's like they might just be hopping on some hype train, but they're hopping on it for a reason, because we love to feel that like communal fire. Like, dude, I can't wait for this drop. Are you getting one? Are you getting one? I went for it. Like if you guys were there for some of those Wednesday morning like Funko drops, you know, and the pop-up shop was still here before they
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, that was like 10 a.m. here, whatever. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, freaking out," you know, lighting up the place. So I think it's just trying to let some of that passion and joy be reflected back, and people will reciprocate that, you know.
Well, and it's to me, it's like now that I've crossed over to manufacturing my own stuff, which is a whole nother thing. Um, it makes it more special. And then people need to realize that it should be more special because it's not going over to a factory. You know, you're not just calling up and say, all right, send me 5,000 of these and box them up. I'll send you the artwork. You're actually making them, sanding them, painting them, whatever you're doing. And they're limited. That's, to me, that was the big thing that got me into sodas, was that they were limited piece counts. There was 2,000, there was 5,000, whatever the piece count was, it was numbered. And once Funko just took a different turn, that was it for me, because I just lost interest. I really did. But
Oh,
I love that the people are crossing over. The people that I've known in the Funko world are now coming over and doing both, which is fantastic. It's getting more eyes on artists, art, the designer toys, all that good stuff. And I'm really excited about that. It's like we're bringing new people in to the other side, if you will, you know?
totally. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And honestly, you guys have all been just one of the great, you know, cliques of pioneers of Toy Stoke in recent memory. I mean, I've gone through, you know, several. We've had some of our, you know, I can remember even 2018 customers that were just like part of the Stoke, in 19, and ones that came and gone and left, and, you know, different groups of friends that were doing this and groups of friends that were doing that. And you know, those early Whatnot days and everything was like, you know, that was just, you know, there's a great group of you guys that are out there just, you know, loving toys and not being so caught up in all the other BS that comes with it that some other people get caught up in. And I think that's the main thing, is like, you know, don't let this, like, you know, oh, is the value of this down or up, like, you
Right.
know, shed the passion in it, whether it's this or that. I mean, I'll literally set like a $5 toy next to like $1,000 custom and like look at them both like, you know, like I love like both these
Yeah.
things, and they're just, you know, equal. One thing you just reminded me of though that I do want to touch on, and I think that you guys should kind of permeate this, you know, throughout the community, is like, and not in any kind of toxic way, but I think that as far as Funko goes, like in a much more professional way, like you can email support at Funko, and I think it's very like good to get like what you were saying about what you believe about the sodas or what you believe about this. It's not emailing Funko and saying, "Screw you guys, used to be cool," or this
Yeah.
isn't cool anymore. I'm, whatever. You can
Yeah.
just say like, hey guys, I used to be a huge fan of your sodas, this and this and this, and these are the reasons why, like, I'm really not buying them anymore, but I really appreciated this. But, when you email support and stuff, and especially at a company like that, that stuff does get filed, and it does get this, and it does, like, they don't have a system where they just throw that in the trash.
Right.
They just don't. And some of it might have to pile up really good, but I think there is ways, like Funko is not, there's still an ant compared to Hasbro and Mattel and different things like this. I mean, they still have like a tenth of the market cap of those companies. And there's still an element where, reach out and, I I hesitate to say it because I feel like half the people that do that kind of stuff are just going to be like, hey, screw you, blah, blah. But just like even on a
Yeah.
day, and you can even not do it, once a week, once every 2 weeks, just say like, hey, this is what I believe, this is what I love, this is what I kind of want to see. Thanks for this, and goodbye. But I think it's up right now. Like, the consumer is, they've taken so many turns at times, and they've done so much right. I think that's the other thing, is like, we fault them for their failures way more than we praise them for their wins. Sometimes they've kind of become like that type of company or whatever. But yeah, I still think there's a lot of power in the consumer, and in like, making sure that Funko doesn't forget where they came from, doesn't forget their heart. I mean, they've made so many freaking sick toys. It's like unreal when you really like boil it down. I mean, once you start getting into Hikari and like wobblers and pops and some of those designs too, there's a lot to them. You think it's like simple, but there's like some very, very good proportion work and things that were done by artists that are just as, known and talented as some of the designer guys. I mean, you've got guys like Reese O'Brien, right? That's more kind of exposed in that thing, and we all know him. But there's a big group of guys that were there at Funko doing like, the spastic plastic and all that stuff. So I hope that they can keep some of that going, and I still think some of it's there, and I'm excited to see what comes of this fun days.
And
But I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you nailed it right on the head. Like, there's some amazing pieces, and I've actually calculated. I've spent over 6 figures on sodas in the time since soda came out, and I have done that, and I've reached out, and it is a good feeling that you at least said what was on your mind, and what you feel and why you're leaving, why I'm not going to do a video every day on sodas anymore. Is I needed to say that, and I needed to say it to them. And so I think that's a great idea. I've never thought of that, to say that to other people to do, and I think that's a great idea.
But I like Jonathan, how you said, because a lot of people do default to, when they're passionate about something, you kind of can show a little teeth and maybe be a little, off color in your remarks. And I think it is important to take that breath and kind of maybe even craft your phrasing, just so that it's not coming across bitter and angry, but more, I am an enthusiast. I am a toy collector. This is what I used to like. This is what you don't do anymore. I just wanted to voice my opinion. I think
Exactly. That's it. It takes 5 seconds, and it's more just like that. It's very succinct, very, dry, very non-toxic, and just like, and that stuff they are looking at that. And I don't have a bunch of inner workings, eyes into the inner workings of Funko, but we had a few meetings with them towards the end, and at least the whiffs that we got is that they were, they are switching to a more production scarcity style of production, that they are, that, they know that this was a very tough thing and some mistakes were made and they got kind of whacked. And so we're going to have to see, hopefully they don't double down on some stuff, and hopefully they just kind of, we just keep having fun. And we want them around, even if you're only a designer toy guy, healthy Funko, if you're like a crypto person, Funko's kind of like the Bitcoin or something, and then you got like the altcoins or whatever, and all the little things that do well and do better, and the whole toy industry where people have a baseline to jump off from, and all these different things to get influenced by. So it's a fun time when it's doing good.
Yeah,
for sure.
So Aussie Pop and Paul asked, what designer toy companies can you guys see explode in the next 12 months?
Designer toy companies that I can see explode. Man, that's
One
a
that
tough
I
one.
wish,
It is, because there's not really a lot of new ones that are getting their feet wet right now.
one that I wish would like kind of make a comeback towards or go back to where kind of what they were doing was Kid Robot. And I know that, you know, some of the, you know, there's going to be some changes with that, obviously. But the, you know, I feel like they've done a lot more plush and things like that recently.
Yeah, well, I think some of that too is just like they got some licenses and they do some of that just to kind of keep the overhead and bring
Mhm.
home kind of stuff like that. So that's not even, I don't think, quite related to even kind of the designer toy stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, once you kind of, you know, Kid Robot got to be kind of a measurably sized company, and that's the one thing about designer toys, that there's kind of like this catch 22 a little bit, or this area where you reach a point where you're successful enough to kind of need to grow, and you need to sell more, and you need to, like, businesses, you know, they can't quite stay just where they are or be what they are, like, and as you grow and succeed and succeed and succeed, all of a sudden you reach this like designer toy wall that you know you can't necessarily evolve out of it, because it is it is a relatively small community when it comes down to it, right? There's not hundreds of thousands of people, um or whatever, and so I think that, you know, they got really big, um and are still kind of like, you know, the designer toy company, as far as, you know, the history books or whatever. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Kid Robot. They had
Yeah.
major influences, major artists, you know, all this stuff. But, you know, it's hard when you can't sell out like 1,000-person, 2,000-piece runs, when you start becoming someone with a, you know, a VP or a shipping guy or artist or this or that. I mean, once you start stacking on 5, 10, 15, 20 employees even, or something like that, I mean, you've got to figure out a way to bring in the cash. And so I think that some of, you know, them going into some of that at some point was, you know, hey, we've got these production channels, we know how to make this stuff, like what can we do to make that's going to, you know,
Yeah.
sell. So I think some of the plush stuff, you know, maybe does well kind of on like on Amazon, and it's kind of almost like if you think of like a third party designer or something like that. But I hope that they do more dunnies and everything like that too. I mean, they're such a staple, and so fun and everything.
Me personally, I'd like to see designer toy artists explode in the next 12 months. I'd like to see some of these great creators of Rock and Row, Rock Inc. Toys. Let's have him explode in the next 12 months.
Yeah, that
Let's
would be
have B.
nice.
Saldana explode in the next 12 months. Let's have Cardi Artist and, you know, Ganga, and, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Rux and all these great artists. Let's have them explode in the next 12 months. That's what I'd really love to see, because those are the people that are putting their passion and heart and, you know, love and everything else into toys and
Well,
art.
it's a whole ecosystem, and you see, like, so when things are healthy, like everyone's kind of scratching everyone's back in terms of, like, you know, let's say that like a designer toy company gets really successful and that mold's really successful, and then
Yeah.
they're able to, you know, print blanks and get artists on that mold. So then the artists get exposed because that mold is just selling really well.
Great point.
And so
Yeah.
you need a successful mold to do that. And what happens when things start to cave in a little bit is things start to get cannibalized. Like everyone starts rushing to, so when there's like 4 or 5 horses that can win the race, right? Then you've got like your designer toy guy over here, your mystery box guy over here, your blah 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 guy over there. But
Yeah.
when things start getting a little bit crumbly, everyone starts to stack on top of each other and only doing what works, right? It's like, oh, we all move over here, and you kind of like cannibalize that, like, oh, we're
Yeah.
all on whatnot, or we're all doing mystery boxes, or we're all doing this. We're only seeing what works because we're trying to, like, you know, survive, or we're trying to do that. But you see how that yeah, that ecosystem where you want those companies to do well, and then those artists can, you know, even maybe get you know, I think a big, you know, hope for a lot of artists too is they get a colorway on a vinyl, right? To where they're doing the customs and everything like that, but then they get that, you know, 200 or 300 piece run that their stuff is on. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's this whole kind of, you know, interconnected thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw that a little bit with my stuff when I had my first artist, do one-on-one customs on my piece. It was just, it's so cool to have that happen. And that's why I'm trying to push B to do some of her art on some of my pieces, just because she's so good at what she does and she's like taking off. And I want to see some of that on some toys too, because her prints and her like canvases and her DIY cards and stuff like that are amazing. And you just want to push those people to say, hey, let's do a toy because it's going to be fantastic. Let's just do it.
Yeah,
Totally.
And something different.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for creativity there, and fun and opportunities and networking. And like I said too, right now, I mean, it's a time when you can there's sculptors, there's artists, there's all different types of very talented people right now that are really wanting to get on a creative project, do something cool, open to opportunities, maybe have a little extra time, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's super super fun. And as long as you kind of keep that mission statement of pushing the narrative of just creativity and wanting to do good with other people, have fun with other people, enjoy toys, enjoy you know everything that comes along with it. It's when you start getting embedded in it, it's more than just a toy. It's the whole deal, right?
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
And it really is a cool community to be, a part of. Just the people that we've met, the connections we've made with primarily Whatnot. Just that's the primary base of where we've met the people that collect. But it is just we've really had such an awesome experience with it. It's been a good getaway from all the negativity in the world.
Totally. Yeah, and
So
you get people who got your back. I mean, I've met people in toys for sure that have done more things for me than people maybe I've known my whole life would do or whatever.
that's
Definitely.
100% true. As we wind things down, Jonathan, what can we look forward to in year 6 of SMEYE World? What's talk to us? What's on the horizon? What can you hint? I know you said there are a few things that are in the works you can't really quite tease right now, but what would, if you had a minute or so to just kind of tell everybody what you want them to hear? Now's the time.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess if I would just say, right now we're feeling a little bit more momentum. We're feeling a little bit more gassed up. We're feeling a little bit more excited. We're just going to try to kind of carry that in. And really, we just want to have some fun. And we just really love the community. We love when you guys come out and support us. We always really appreciate it. And I do have a couple things I'm working on that I'm really excited about. I hope that they come to fruition. I do think that hopefully by this year too, you'll see a cool exclusive or two come through us, and we are going to be having more regular custom drops now. The SMEYE Customs is really something that I want to make sure that stays as part of our identity, as part of our brand and what we do, and I feel like it adds that dynamic. So there will be Dave is actually kind of taking over that division. So the regular SMEYE custom Funkos that you're going to see are going to be Evil Dave X SMEYE World. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that you guys will be excited about that, that
Yeah.
everyone will be excited about that, and that we can just keep the fire and keep the stoke. It's that's what we're all not only here for, but I think like we have to, I have to here to preserve it. I want to preserve my own stoke. I try to, and help other people too, in terms of that's the fun stuff, right? I mean, there was a minute there where I was down, and I just wasn't feeling good about things, and I just met a couple people, we did the event, we do this, and like all of a sudden it's like stuff just washes over you where you're like, oh shit, yeah, this is freaking cool, and I do really love this, and I do, you know what I mean? Like, so just keep doing what you're doing and meeting the people and having the fun and just appreciating it all. Don't get too caught up in moving too fast, or this is going that way, or that's going this way, or we're going up or down, or all that kind of jazz. Just even keel and have a blast.
And now that you're a true member of DT4, our second guest, anytime you want to come on and promote an event, a drop, a sneak peek, we would love to have you on. Even if you want to just come on for 5 minutes and promote something, we're open to that as well. So just let us know if you ever want to come back and promote yourself. We're all about that. So
yeah, sure. And likewise too. I mean, if you you hit me up every now and then or whatever, and you want to have a chat, I'm always happy to come out and talk. I hope you guys had a good night tonight, and I don't mind it, and I'm always here to have some fun and all that jazz too. So same to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
We're all very big fans of yours, Jonathan. So we'll be behind you, keeping that stoke going, buddy.
All right, I appreciate that, Ditto. It means a lot. Where do we get your where do you do your rock and roll toys from?
We're doing them all on Whatnot right now. The only reason is because I don't have a website built up yet, so everything is through Whatnot. Matter of fact, EMB is going to run some this Friday night. They're going to run a case, and then Ditto is running a case next Wednesday.
So when you mean a case, how many unit runs are you doing and everything?
16 in a case. There's 16 blind boxes in a case. I think this run of Series 2 is probably like 16 cases total.
Okay, and so you resin cast all these yourself?
These are resin printed, yeah. So
resin printed, okay.
Yeah, and then some of them are individually hand painted. We picked up 3 artists this time who provided one-of-ones, and they just knocked it out of the park. Angel Once, King Ganga, and Cardi Artist, and they just crushed it. They did such a great job.
And it's really neat because they're in the chat. So like while we're pulling the figures, they're in there. So the community can get to talk to the artists and stuff, which is really cool. And
that's wicked cool. When do you guys do that? That might be something I might have to hop on and say hi for.
We usually do our shows on Saturday, but this week we're going Friday. So Friday night, 8:30 Central is when we're going to run those.
We can try to tag you in it so that you can find
it. Yeah, tag SMEYE World on Instagram or something. But I think I'm going to need to get one of those blind boxes.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
We'll run them on Wednesday, the following Wednesday. So
week from tonight, same time, 8:30 Central.
Yeah, see, that's awesome. See, I literally feel like chills from that kind of stuff. The fact that you're just going out here doing the blind box, the DIY freaking, I mean, that's just badass. I mean, really, truly, I mean.
Who else is doing stuff right now is Philip. I don't know if you know Philip. What's his last name?
Well, it was Fillionaire back in the day. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And he's resin casting wise figures, which are these little owls. I don't know if you've seen them on IG, but
oh yeah, that's fresh.
They're really cool though.
So yeah, he does those as well. So it's really cool. I feel like a lot of us have really been inspired to do our own versions of art, and so Rock has been killing it. I mean, he's constantly busy 24/7, like either printing these things or painting them or boxing them. And so it's really neat to get to see a behind the scenes look at all the hard work, that goes into it. And then, it's an honor to be able to get them and to be able to sell them on, our channel. So we're very excited about that.
Heck yeah, man. That's freaking
we've
rad.
already locked in for Series 3. It's going to be amazing. We've already Red Guardian. So Angel's going to be in. He's going to be an artist. Rux 1, the original 3 are going to be back.
So are you, when you say like when Angel, is he going to be like sculpting a figure that you're going to release, or going to paint him?
They're going to paint my figure. So whatever figure they like, I'll give them a choice, and then they'll pick out which ones when Series 3 comes out, and they'll paint them up the way they want.
It's like a collab, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, no, that stuff's super fun, and then you develop those relationships, and I remember. I mean, yeah, and that's like, yeah, it's just super freaking cool. And those are where some of your best friends are going to come from, and where your projects you're excited about. And yeah, I mean, I just say go full tilt, don't give up, have fun, and it's just wicked cool. I mean, honestly, I mean, just seeing that kind of blind box there where you're just doing that tip to toe is like, that's just really, that's awesome. You know, it's the kind of stuff we need, but it's also, you know, I know it's the, you know, I don't want to say like perseverance, you know, but the you know, not a lot of people just, they have those types of ideas, but they don't execute them. And
Yeah,
so
the
whatever
drive, right? Yeah.
whatever word that, yeah, and it's not even, sometimes it's like it's just that whole idea of like, yeah, going from nothing that's just an idea to something like that is just really cool.
It's very rewarding. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, but a lot of fun. It
Two
has been.
quickies before we let you go here, Jonathan. One, do you ever participate in any? Are you ever like at Decon or 5 Points or any of those types of venues for people to come meet you or see you?
5 Points is like what I was shooting for, probably around like, you know, pre-pandemic. I want to say I set my sights on it maybe like 2018 or 19 that we were going to do like the following year, and then, you know, the pandemic or something. And honestly, I've always wanted to get together. I'd love to have some New York Comic Con, SMEYE World booth, but we're kind of always been just like the little engine that could, and kind of any time we've, you know, where I just, you know, I'm spread so thin here with what I'm doing, and then the investment of doing it and everything like that, where there just hasn't been a synergy that's like really brought me there. But sometimes I wish that I maybe had pushed harder for some of that stuff. Decon's on the West Coast. We're on like the very tip of the northern East Coast. I mean, we're just, you know, I'm like a 15-minute drive from Maine right now, so we're we're up here, you know. Yeah, that it's about, we're about, you know, an hour north of Boston. And so when you're talking about doing like a con that's way out there, if you're bringing any stock and stuff, I mean, it's doable, but it can be costly.
Yep.
And yeah, I wish that sometimes some of that, but some of it too is just you know, it's another part of, I feel like, the facet of our like identity. I feel like we're just this you know, little car in our own lane doing what we can to make it, you know. I mean, we're very much still just kind of like the metamorphosis of your kind of like blind box thing, you know. There's no, you know, there's nothing fancy about what we're doing here, and it all just comes out of a, you know, small group of people that make it happen. But so yeah, no con plans right now, but I hope one day that might change. I would think a really cool event too might be something cool. You know, maybe we can all put something together where we
that would be,
you know,
Vegas. We're doing it in Vegas.
Like
we're doing it in
you know, a
Vegas.
little 100-person conference room thing that's
Let's
more
go.
like a little old school fun days style thing.
He just literally said he's on the tip of the East Coast, and you want to still drag him all the way out west.
He'll come to Vegas.
All right, I'm attending my very first 5 Points this weekend, assuming that the air quality clears up between now and Saturday. But I will be there, and I'm excited about it. So.
Oh man, it actually looks like there's quite a bit of freaking fire there this year.
It's really good. Yeah.
What was I looking at? Some of those Great Brain the rainbow ones from Strange Cat. Did you see those dropping?
Yeah,
man, I've been seeing stuff left and right. I mean, it definitely looks spicier than last year. 5 Points, you know, that was another one that just got shook up by COVID. And I actually have never been to one, but you know, from everyone that I've talked to before, like 5 Points is like the it fest, you know what I mean? In terms of like, and I do think that got flipped a little bit on its head from, you know, but
we're killing Ian B right now.
Oh, sorry.
Last week I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just buy a plane ticket. I'm gonna go and I'll find a place to sleep. It's New York. We can just sleep outside. Like it's fine.
So you're going too?
I'm not going. I really wanted to go, but
they'll live vicariously through me. I got him. I'll take him on my back and I'll show him around.
This is, you know, it's kind of a shame that the you know, smog had to come. I hope that doesn't deter some people, because last year by the time it happened, it was still kind of like mask and like half kind of like COVID leg. And I mean, but pre-COVID, like around 2019, like the word on the street was like, nah, dude, 5 points. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't, if you're going to pick one, like, don't go to decon, don't go to this, don't go to that. This is where you go. This is where the magic happens. This is where all the cool stuff is.
Well, especially this year because, you know, with the decon being so close to the holidays, you know, I feel like a lot of people were opting to go to 5 points.
Versus,
So,
yeah.
Well, and again, it's a West Coast, East Coast thing too. You're going to get artists that favor, like, you know, Clavs here on the East Coast, certain artists, and some will fly and some will do that, but you kind of get, I think, a little bit more flavor like that. And I think decon's got another side of its whole culture that's, there's some of the kind of like, you know, I don't want to say like Safubi stuff, but you know, some of the kind of like different stuff. There's still going to be a lot of Safubi at 5 points and stuff too, but yeah, just the stuff that I've been seeing coming out of the, you know, all the different stores and artists and things that are doing their like 5 points releases. I've seen a lot of fire this time.
Come on, man, Jonathan, take a drive over and
I know.
hang out with me. Come on.
I just might. You never know.
We'll go have a craft beer and a food truck taco or something. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah,
not just any beer, but a craft beer.
Because it's a craft beer. It's a craft beer festival, sir. So anyway, all right. Well, man, Jonathan, we could literally talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
We certainly have more to discuss, and as Rock said, we'll definitely have you back.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and I'm the same way. I mean, I like getting together like this and chatting every now and then. I mean, I'm not one that I don't like doing, you know, I've never thought about doing like the YouTube thing, or I don't like thinking about being some TikTok guy, or I don't like, you know, any of the kind of camera stuff that's required. But when that's what's cool, even about Whatnot, when we were just chatting and doing some of that, and I enjoy being on here and talking with you guys, and it you know, makes me get excited and stuff too, and I get filled up being here as well, so I appreciate it.
Well, if you're going to pop into any of our Whatnot streams, send us your playlist, and we'll make sure to throw a couple of songs on in honor of you, buddy.
All right, yeah, maybe I'll drop a couple tunes. Definitely tag me. I want to at least come in and try to say hi. Maybe Saldana, I'll catch yours and see if I can scoop a blind box up or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out, and we will catch you again next time. And if you need anything, let us know, and we'll pop you on here anytime.
All right. Cheers, guys.
All right. Good night.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Wow. That was good.
What a cool dude.
Yeah, he's the best.
I was not blessed enough and fortunate enough to be in the Whatnot era during, you know, the Thursday night SMEYE, but I did. Well, I heard about it secondhand.
This is back when I was getting the side eye. She was like,
yeah. I was like, what are all these boxes? And why are you on the phone all the time? And who are you talking to? You know, what do you mean urn? What's an urn? You know, that kind of stuff. What's a ditto?
She never did that, but yeah.
No, but yeah, I do remember he always, like, you know, Monday night was Parker and Thursday night was SMEYE. And
Tuesday night was me, but you didn't know me, so it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
So yeah, he's a cool human.
You know what? I honestly feel like we got him. We sparked him a little bit. We lit a little fire in his little tummy there. Like, I think we're gonna.
I don't want any fire in my tummy.
we're gonna just a little bit of a push, you know. Like, hey, let's.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I think he likes. I think he embraces what we're all doing, and you know, he sees the value in it, and he's just really sharp guy. Jonathan is a very, very sharp guy. He's always been on top of it and very knowledgeable. If you guys aren't following SMEYE World, please do. SMEYEworld.com and at SMEYE World on IG, because he's
get lost on their website. There's tons of stuff on their website. Good stuff.
That chomp.
I hope he goes back to Whatnot, man. I get it's not the same as it used to be, but those were good times.
Yeah.
And he even still, like, he has so much cool stuff that nobody shows on the app.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Well, we've got a fun little concept we're talking about behind the scenes that we can't give any teases on today, but we will in the near future. And I think Jonathan might be fun to include in that little concept we were talking about. That would be that would be very dope.
The one where we dress up, or which one was
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Just
B,
kidding.
you'll know when I remind you. You know
So okay, so let's start winding this down. So you're going to 5 Points.
yeah,
You're
man.
gonna have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah,
You're gonna pick us up a lot of goodies.
I'm
We
gonna
got-
try.
Okay, that Arctic fox. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna need
You
one.
know
of
how
those.
many people have hit me up in the last 48 hours about Arctic fox?
I know, and
everybody wants Arctic fox.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
it puts you in a really bad spot because you are only one person, and and you're trying to meet all these artists that we've been talking to for months. So I know you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
If you don't pick up my item that I asked for, it doesn't really matter, but make sure you do.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. No,
at this point, if you need help, you can hire me and fly me out.
Fly out? All right, let's do it.
I mean,
you know what? If you could find a cheap flight, I would be game for you to go. How much is a 5 Points ticket? Are they pretty reasonable?
They're not
$45 for Saturday.
Oh,
I bought the VIP. Just
the only thing that held me back was a place to stay because it's New York. Like a closet's like $1,800 a night.
Yeah.
You know,
you could cuddle. You could cuddle with Ethan. I'm sure he'd be okay with that.
Bench. He can sleep on park bench with the rats, the squirrels.
Put them out. Put them out in Central Park.
So we're still trying to lock in our next guest, correct?
Yeah. I think we're close. Nothing that we can kind of divulge today, but we got some cool stuff coming up. July is going to be a little off schedule. We will keep you guys posted via Instagram, and next show kind of how and what we're going to do for July. But we have Rock's family that he's going to be tending to for half of or thereabouts of July. And then we will all be at SDCC, one of what would be our scheduled Wednesdays. So we'll figure all that out and get you guys information.
Yeah. I got to spend time with Little Rock while she's here. She's only here for 2 weeks from college. So
family
we're going to go do the Disney thing. We're going to be the tourists kind of thing in Cali. I may go by and see Angel and Goop Masta too while I'm down there.
You should definitely.
Yeah, I'm there for 4 days, something like that. 3 days, 4 days, something like that.
Angel said you can crash on his couch anytime. That's at least what he told me.
Yeah. All right. So more info to come on our next guest. So stay tuned, guys. Please promote this. Like, we're growing every week. We had a good 40 people in here the whole time tonight, which is great. And we're just keep growing, and we want to grow it. We want to get the word out to promote everybody. And if you have suggestions, let us know. We'll bring them on, So
E and B, you guys have Rock and Roll Minis this Friday?
Yes, sir.
We have Rock and Roll Minis this Friday.
Anything else coming up?
No auction Saturday, right?
Amongst other things. What's up?
No auction on Saturday then? Just Friday?
Correct. Yeah.
No auction.
So we'll run Rock's Minis. It's possible we'll have some other, random stuff. I may have a painting or two up for sale. I'm not sure yet. I gotta, look at that.
I may pop on for a givey if you guys want to jump in there. So make sure you guys support EMB, and we'll come in there, maybe do a givey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Anything else coming up on the horizon that you guys have news on or anything yet?
Not really.
Nothing I can think of. No, I mean, just.
I did have somebody hit me up about making. I'm not going to divulge anything other than to say that I got commissioned to do 24 DIY cards. 24.
Oh, let's go.
You can do that. You're just like Angel. You have them done tonight. You'll be done tonight.
Or Sneaky, he'll have them done in 10 minutes.
Yeah. No. I don't know about all that. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I've got some art stuff, that I'm trying to work on. I wish I could have more time in the day to be able to do it all because it's so fun. But
I hear you.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all we got.
I chose the wrong career path. She can't be a stay-at-home mom. I wish. I know.
If I only had married a lawyer.
A lawyer. A lawyer.
Or a retired Air Force guy, or something like that.
That's yeah. And you have somebody exciting coming up soon, Rock.
I do. I'm super excited. I was gonna let Ditto go first, but I will step over him because I have Olka Mack next Tuesday. Hey. So if you guys don't know Olka, she is from the Ukraine. The story is when she was in series 1 of the creatives, her card actually said from Ukraine on the back, and then she moved to New York. She came to New York to get away from all that stuff. 7-time award-winning artist. Just she is. You guys all know her probably, especially if you collect the creatives.
Yeah.
She is my style. Loud, bright, just super cool. And she's going to be on. It's going to be. I'm kind of nervous. English is not her first language, so we're going to help her get through it. She's a little nervous, but she's excited. She's got some cool stuff, some skate decks. I'm anxious to see some DIYs and all that fun stuff. So Tuesday, we'll have her on. And then Wednesday, ditto.
Yeah, I got a couple of things coming up. So tomorrow I'm actually
Sorry,
I'm
I forgot.
dipping my toe into the Funko waters for one day again with my buddy and all of our friend Christopher Jeffrey Savage.
Savage.
Savage. Savage and I are going to do a short little mystery box just for fun. It's great. So come out. Even if you guys don't, collect Funko, come out and just hang out and have fun with us. That's going to be on Savage Pop's stream at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe, or 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m.
That's tomorrow, right?
Yep. And then, of course, I'll be this weekend in 5 Points, assuming Mother Nature plays kind.
And then live on Insta for that. Can you go live on Insta so we can
you will.
see the sites?
Yeah, 100%. I will.
100%. He's going to be live on Insta 24/7. Probably.
I will be sending pictures. You guys are going to get sick of me this weekend for sure. And then next Wednesday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, I will be running my case of rock minis. So I'm very excited about that. So come out and hang out and then sometime TBD, Super Cooper. Super Cooper is coming on. He's confirmed. We just are trying to lock in a date. So lots of fun things coming up for me as well.
Can I just say that I'm loving these artist streams because Sneak messaged us after we, did a stream with him, and he said that he's able to go to 5 Points now because of the stream and all the support that he got. So the amount of the support that the community is showing to these artists is just so cool.
To add on to that, I was in a show with another streamer, and he was thanking me, which I'm like, we didn't do anything. We just kind of we just thought it'd be cool. And he was like, dude, my daughter has type 1 diabetes, and Sneak, he said in the show, it's the same. So apparently they linked up, and then his daughter and Sneak ended up having a 20-30 minute conversation and stuff. And then
nice.
Come to find out, she likes art, and then once she said that to him, and he lit up. So they discussed art, and it was really, really cool just to So now he's doing he's going to be helping with the fundraiser that they're doing. It's
well, now you're going to make me cry for real because that's really cool. That's something that we helped, show him to the world because, these artists, they deserve a platform.
Well, I was like, we did nothing. I mean, if at that point it was meant to be, it was cool that, he happened to be there in the show whenever Sneak was there. So it was cool.
I love that the artists are all getting love and exposure. And, guys, everybody who's in the chat who comes into any one of the streams when we have these artists on, thank you guys for all the support. I can't tell you how much it means to these artists. It means a lot to us too, because, they're coming on not necessarily knowing us. And
it takes a lot of trust.
They're taking a risk on us as much as, more than we're taking a risk on them. That's for sure. So, it means a lot. And I got to tell you, I almost, speaking of crying, I almost got welled up when I saw Cardi Artist's DIY that he put out for me today because
it's so cool.
Personal. It was amazing. He got my 2 Boston Terriers side by side.
Can I show it?
Absolutely. Please do. And then my cow.
Cardi is such an amazing human. We became really close, and we're actually going to collab on something to raise money for charity as well. And that's what I think is cool. Besides getting their art and getting them exposure, all that stuff is now we can even take it to the next level, like he said, and do stuff. Charity comes out of it, right? We raise money for charity for that. And I love that. I love it.
When I saw Cardi's reel today, it actually kind of got me a little emotional.
So here we go.
So you'll see on the left and right, it's a little hard to see on cam, but on the left and right, if you see it on the reel,
The cow is perfect.
He's got my 2 Boston Terriers on either side of me, which are like my little girls, and he's got the cow right in the middle, and he says "Ditto's Squad." So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
The fact that he would take that much consideration and thought into a DIY card again just shows how generous, just in of human nature and souls.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's
just a great guy, and he's given me a lot of tips and tricks and hints and painting stuff, and like he's amazing. So but guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I want to say personally, I know Ditto was saying that thanks for the support and all that for the artists. Me personally, I want to say thanks for all the support in my venture. You guys are amazing. I can't believe the amount of support that I'm getting. The messages when I crossed over from Funko, when I stepped away from PFO last week, a lot of positive feedback, and I appreciate that. And I really, I just want to get that out there that you guys are really, really like pushing me to keep getting better and better. So I do appreciate that. So
Amen.
Before I ramble, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. We love you guys. We are so thankful for y'all as the community. Go watch Spider-Man if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
Do it. Rock, do it. It's so good.
I need to.
It's good. I'm about to watch the first one again because
drown our 5-point FOMO sorrows out with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna unplug. I'm gonna unplug all weekend so I don't even see Ditto's stuff. He'll be back to home Monday. I'll be like, okay, it's over.
I gotta see it.
I'll be calling you. Right.
Ditto. Green Ranger.
Yes. He did ask for that before 5,000 other
Green Ranger, Arctic Fox, yes, Arlo.
You don't have to give me Arctic Fox. It's okay. I know
Arlo would be cool.
All the artist signatures, and I'm just kidding.
I've got a big list.
It's overwhelming, I know. I'm messing with you.
I've got stacks of cards to get signed here. Stacks of cards.
ACB.
All right.
Well, guys. I guess we'll see you tomorrow, Ditto, for your stream with Savage.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys. That is all we got for tonight. We'll see you next time on DT4. Stay tuned for who the amazing guest is going to be. I'm hoping we get the person that we're talking to. It's going to be awesome.
Chance the Rapper.
That's it. But guys, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Everybody be safe, stay happy, and gosh darn it, be nice to each other, except if you're talking to Ditto. And we'll see you on the next one.
He said be nice to me.
What?